So I saw this. All parties rip into arrogant SNP over disgraced Michael Matheson and John Swinney's conduct. Because, well, look, to me, I think it's distraction. I really do. To me, it's almost ritualistic, within the occult, because most people don't see them as well. I mean, all I'd say to people is, why don't you make it mandatory that anybody who's supposedly so righteous in this above reproach building, one could call it a lodge, can they just make it known that if they are a member of Freemasonry, Eastern Star, etc., or various other occult organizations? Well, if we're talking about clear and transparent, yeah. So while we're in this instance seeing this theatre by various eloquent speakers, because that's why they're there, because it is theatre and they are acting. Talking about this 11 grand that somebody, well, apparently it was something to do with what they had through Parliament, and whether it's their internet connection paid for, under expenses, blah blah blah, all the rest of it. And anyway, the story, and I'm not saying it's not true, I have no idea, you're only as good as the data, was that while roaming abroad on holiday, the said device was activated and something was watched. I think it was supposed to be football, whatever. But because of roaming charges, the bill came to about £11,000. Now, the individual involved, what we are told is, did not disclose that and try to get that under expenses, basically. Please feel free to put a comment if I've said anything that, But I'll be honest with you. I do find, well, that's great. Yeah, that's appalling. The guy trying to fiddle his expenses is basically what they're saying, to avoid paying for things that was not related to work. And in private industry, for argument's sake, it would be instant dismissal, sacking, blah, 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 blah. I get all that. But what I have a real problem with is while you see all this theatre, meanwhile, uncontrolled immigration, you can see stories lately in Scotland now, even apparently in the Scottish borders, vast property shortage for rental, etc. You could just name the place lately, especially in Ireland. It's more and more by the day a thing. And while they're pointing fingers at 11 grand, and yeah, that's a bloody serious amount of money, but not for some, believe it or not. But it's a serious amount of money. But what is being spent on a daily basis, and it's not our own. And this what gets me, honestly, it's, well, I'll leave you a link to it in the pinned comment, as always. Some eloquent speaking, especially from this individual here. Yeah? But I have no idea who the individual is. I look at all of them as underling accountants, theatre, well, thespians, they're actors, male and female. It's more about the occult with them than anything to do with what you perceive you see them as, because by their very actions, by the day, it becomes harder and harder for native people to live confident in the knowledge that their own country is truly safe, in the sense of the security of employment, accommodation, whether bought or rented, and a long and rewarding life. And we are being told on a daily basis that, others are suffering more than you. Then what? This is the fucking reason we apparently vote them in? Are you kidding me? Seriously? So yeah, maybe I'm off at tangents here, but am I? And I look at these people like that. I've talked about it in the past, maybe not on this channel, but SURF, which is SURF's Scotland's Regeneration Forum. You should look them up. Seriously. They're the ones implementing the 20-minute neighborhoods in a 15-minute cities and talking about networks. And I'm not joking you. It's a disgrace that they've only got 80 subscribers. Because if you want to know how they're doing it on the ground, in networks, they're literally telling you, but because they're not, well, let's face it, we're dealing with a society now that's got such short attention spans, unless there's explosions and pew pew and whatever else in the background. They have such a limited attention span. Even when these occultist underlings are saying, hey, well, basically, this is how we're going to implement these 15-minute cities and 20-minute neighborhoods. And how do we discourage people to get out their cars and whatever else and eat bugs as opposed to, well, steak? And not only accept it, but embrace it. These people are literally telling you, but it's not pew pew, or whatever it is, this distraction that stops people from actually watching what they're actually saying, and you wonder what's going on around you. Well, anyway, your thoughts.